We all know the usual advice when it comes to job interviews, don't we? Research the company, dress smart, ask questions, be enthusiastic, be on time. But in this video, I am going to give you the one strategy that will trump all of that advice and put you in a position where you can demonstrate your experience and your expertise and really increase exponentially the chances of success for getting that job. In this video, I'm going to give you that one strategy that is going to transform how you go into that interview and how you articulate about yourself and your experience. Now, before I forget, there is a free download that goes with this video. And in the download, there is all the content that I discuss in this video and also action steps that you need to take as well. So don't forget, once you finish this video, to click on the link below and download the action sheet. So the one strategy that is going to transform how you go into these interviews is based on this principle. The secret to influencing other people who interview you, the secret to influencing other people who are interviewing you is meet them where they are, not where you're coming from. Let me explain. Most people, when they look at a job interview specification and they walk into that job interview and the preparation that they've done, have thought through all of their experience and how they can demonstrate that they are competent enough to do a certain role. Right? It's natural human behavior because we're thinking about, what previous jobs have I worked on that are relevant to this? What projects have I worked on? What skills do I have that I can articulate and talk about? It's the most natural thing to do if you're human, is talk about yourself and your experience and come to that interview and come to that meeting thinking about your own experience. It's the most natural thing to do and everybody does it. However, thinking very consciously about what the person you are talking to is specifically interested in, what is important to the company, and focus everything you say on those things will totally transform how you answer the questions you get asked. So thinking about what's most important to the company, what do they want? What motivates them? What are their pain points? What are their challenges? What fears do they have? Is it their competitors? Is it their budgets? Is it their results that the company is achieving? What aspirations do they have? Who are their competitors and what risks do they face? And if you match what you say to those priorities, those triggers, those influences of the person you're speaking to and the company you're interviewing for, then you're going to get such better results in that interview. It's really about having very front of your mind exactly what their priorities are, what their pains are, and matching your experience and how you are to answer the questions that you get asked in the terms of what are priorities for them. So their priorities might be if you're interviewing for in the finance industry, they are focused on return, risk, teams, competitors, sort of competitive advantage. So instead of saying, this is what I did in this job, this is what I did in this job, this is what I did in this job, you're saying, I got these returns by doing this when I had this responsibility in this job. I was able to minimize risk by implementing these strategies, and I can demonstrate that in the position I had at X, Y, and Z company. I have competitive insight into the current environment because of this experience and these skills that I have. So you're articulating exactly what they are interested in. You're talking about your experience in terms of what they are interested in, what their pain points are, what their buttons. You're pushing their buttons and aligning everything you say to those key points that they're focused on. And for instance, another example is if you're managing projects or directing projects, you're going to be thinking about, workload, budget, timelines, risk, and things like that in terms of your mind, in terms of how you manage your projects. But actually the company is maybe thinking about, what are our profits, what are our budgets, and what are our profit margins, or how do we manage resource so that we can allocate it across all the projects that we do. So it's a slight twist to how you present your experience, but you want to be presenting your experience in their terms. And if you do this, if you talk in their terms, if you touch their pain points, if you prod the things that they are interested in, everything that you answer, you're really going to engage and get their attention. And if you think about sitting in their position, they might have sat through 8 different interviews with people talking about themselves and talking about their experience. And then someone walks into the interview and starts talking about all the things that they're interested in. And it's not that you're not, describing your experience, it's that you're repositioning your experience and matching it to their priorities. And if you do that, you will get their attention, they will pay attention to your answers, they will want to hear more about how you solve these problems, and you really, really increase the likelihood of success in the interview. And it's not difficult, it's just a mindset shift of going into the interview thinking in their terms, meeting them where they are, and giving all your experience and your viewpoints and your background focused on the key points that they are focused on. And therefore you get trust, you build rapport, you connect, and they will remember what you say when they're looking at all the applicants. They'll be like, yeah, this person really got us. They really, really, really connected. They really got us. They know what our priorities are. They know what our challenges are. We must get them on board. And it is that simple. It's not easy to implement, but it is that simple to change around how you talk about your experience. But I promise you, it has great results if you're able to do this. And like I said before, there is an action sheet. Whether you are going for a job interview, a promotion, or a pay rise, the principle of turning around your request, your expertise, your experience in the terms of the person that you're talking to, of the interviewer or your line manager, whatever, there is an action sheet that will take you through the process of doing this step by step, and you can follow the actions and it will get you to your own way of talking about your experience in terms of what is their priority. So click on there's a link in the description. There's a link in the description under this video, and you'll get free access to that action sheet, and it will take you through the steps that you need to go. So it's really, really important to do this before you go into the interview. And when you're in the interview and you're asking questions, you can listen carefully to what some of their priorities are, because they will tell you, and it will be in the job description. It will tell you exactly what their priorities are, and you just need to pay attention and match your experience to exactly what they want. So the secret to influencing other people who interview you is to meet them where they are, not where you're coming from. Not doing the most natural thing to do, which is to talk about yourself from your perspective in your own experience. Instead of doing that, think through what are their priorities, what are their challenges, what are their pain points, and talk in their terms. Meet them where they are, not where you're coming from. And it really, really is a massive differentiator when you're doing an interview. I promise you, and you want to test it out, but I have coached many different people on how to interview effectively. And this is the first thing I do with them, is work out what are the challenges of the people that they're going for their interview and how to match their experience. It is transformational about how you perform in that interview. So get the download in the link below. Make sure that you go through this process, think it through, match up your experience to what their priorities are. And when you go into that interview, you're going to have so much more success, and it will, really escalate your chances of success of getting that interview. Now, I actually find it very exciting when I work with people, because it's kind of like a sort of magic key to being able to get, build rapport, influence the people you're talking to, and really promote yourself effectively in that interview, in that conversation. So make sure download the action sheet that goes with this video, and there should be another video that comes up right now which talks about how to be confident when you go into those interviews. And confidence is a muscle. You can really flex your confident muscle so that you can go into any situation, an interview being a good example of this, and be confident and really communicate confidence when you're answering those interview questions. So download the action sheet that goes with this, check out the video about confidence, and I wish you all the success in that interview, and all good luck.